All right. Peace and blessings, all praises to the Most High. The letter that you see on your screen is from 27-year-old Sade Stevens, who is currently an inmate in the Anson County Correctional Facility in North Carolina for women. Now, I'm going to read this letter to you, and I must admit, this is graphic, so I want to warn you. But it talks about inmate abuse, inmates forced to do things with guards that no woman should be forced to do against her own consent. And you guys can take with that what you will. But I'm going to read this letter. Her mother sent it to me because this has evidently become an ongoing thing. And that number that you see on the screen right there is the number for Anson Correctional Facility in North Carolina for women. So when you read this or when you hear this, I'm asking everyone who watches this video to call and address this situation. And you're going to see from the letter that, the young lady has taken some extreme measures to kind of prevent this from continuing. But I'm going to read the letter on the screen. Let me make it bigger for you so you can read along. And the letter reads, "Hey, Mom, it's 1:09 a.m. right now, and I'm writing to let you know that I've had enough of the mistreatment from the whole segregation unit staff. All they do is talk ish to us, physically abuse us, and find any way to torment us. Shaking my head. This prison is so GD crooked. MFing officers getting away with effing us inmates," and you know what that means, "and bringing in hard D-rugs to get us so strung out to the point where we're helpless zombies just so they can continue having their way with us. SMFH, shaking my effing head. They still got the CO, Rashard Burns, on the Hope unit around me. And they know he was effing me 3 months ago. But of course, they swept it under the rug. He was the one bringing in my pack. That's how I got that K2 in here in January. Yeah, that's the reason I failed my D-rug test on my birthday. You can look on the NCDAC to see that my last write-up was for D-rug possession and a failed D-rug test. Then on March 13, 2025, Rashid hemmed me the F up in the conference room on the Hope unit and tried to make me suck his D word. He was being aggressive and forceful. I didn't submit to his lame ASS, so he got mad and punched me in my MFing chest while I was restrained so I couldn't hit back. I was so fed the F up by this point, and I kept telling the staff, but they ain't do ish. So on March the 14th, day after this, 2025, I swallowed 2 razor blades because I'm just tired of being in this crooked A prison. Do you know Officer Gaddy had the nerve to stand at my door and laugh when he saw me swallow the razors? And he didn't even notify the medical or the sergeant. Finally, after the inmates kicked on the doors to get me some help, the sergeant, Mr. Shaw, came, escorted me to medical. My blood pressure was 145 over 105, and my heart rate was 99 beats per minute. I had to be rushed to the Atrium Health. I just got off self-unalivement watch on March 18th. They removed the blades out of me, by the way. When I got released from the hospital, girl, I told the hospital people that I'm in fear for my life and I don't feel safe here at Anson Prison because the staff are mistreating me and harming me. I told them I'm homicidal and S-wordicital because I really am, Ma. I feel I'm going to end up unaliving somebody or injuring them because they going to find me suspended in the air or something, because before I let these COs unalive me, I'll take myself out. I don't give a F. Anyways, I'm writing to tell you that I'm on a hunger strike. I just started today, and if this doesn't get me any help, then I'm going to OD on Xanax because I have to get the F away from Anson at this point. My goal is to get back to NCCIW, but they're only accepting emergency transferred or severe mental patients. That's why I'm striking, because I want to transfer. It's either they send me per emergency or per mental health if I have to do the Xanax OD plan. I love you so much. I'm sorry I'm a failure. At least if I leave, you'll be financially okay, since you said you got insurance on me. Just know that I was really trying to better myself, but these MFs won't let me be great for real. SMH. I'm severely depressed, though, and hopeless at this point. I'm alone and helpless. Nobody really cares about me. I can't believe Iski blocked me. I can't believe nobody in the family sent me a birthday card but Talia. I'm better off unalive, for real. Yeah, I know. P.S. Call and report this up here to the warden, Miss Torres, and to Mrs. Williams, because they need to investigate. Transfer me ASAP. Call downtown to the NCDAC regional. Speak to Mr. Hayward, to Mr. Branchon, to Miss Branchon, Brandy Shawn Harris, and tell them. And I'm going to end the letter right there. And, I got kind of actually choked up, when I got to that point, when the young lady, and this is her again, Miss Sade Stevens. Now, Sade Stevens is 27 years old. And, I got this information from my mother, and Sade is serving a 32-year sentence, if I'm not mistaken, for simply being in the car with the individuals who robbed and unalived someone. And this happened 10 years ago when Sade was only 17 years old. And she was charged in the participation of, the robbery and someone else in the midst of that robbery. Unalive the guy. I think he was Abdul Whitaker. Now, once again, I don't know the details of the situation. I don't condone crime or anything of that nature, but I do think that sentence was a bit severe for a 17-year-old who just happened to be at the scene of the crime. And once again, I don't know the details, but if you've been watching this channel, you know the story of Kalonda Wooten, who was also 17, and she was in the car with somebody who took the life of another, and they gave her life without the possibility of parole. Fortunately, someone deemed that sentencing juveniles to that much time was unconstitutional, so she was out. Now, she has validated some of this information before I got this letter. In this letter, Sade talks about being involved sexually with a guard 3 months ago. Now, Ms. Wooten has informed us that yes, guards, chaplains, nurses, sergeants, COs are constantly being involved with inmates. And as Ms. Stevens put it, they are literally having their way. Now, that is the number on the screen to Anson Correction. You guys call there. You can mention the officer, Rashid Barnes, I think his name was. But she mentioned he was the one who was bringing in the K2, the K2 pack. Now, if anybody don't know what K2 is, then, I suggest you remain in the lifestyle that you are. But K2 is like a synthetic D-rug, similar to marijuana, maybe. But he is the reason that she was getting that. And we all know inmates get substances by no other way but the guards. And as she put it, the guards are bringing these things in so that the inmates can remain virtual zombies, so the guards can continue to have their way with it. Evidently, Sade wanted to stop engaging in this behavior. And the officer Barnes hemmed her up. And this was May 14th, 10 days ago. And she refused to submit, as she said. Submit, because inmates are in a position of submission towards guard. So because of this, she said he punched her in the chest. And once again, Sade Stevens is probably not a, big girl. She's, you see the picture of her. Once again, also, this is the young lady. I think this is maybe before she went in. But, she's probably like, 5'3", 4, 120, 30 pounds. And you have a big CO punching up on this young lady. So much to the point that she decided to swallow razor blades. I guess that is a way, hoping that the razor blades cut up her insides, whatever the case may be. And the guard, Mr. Gaddy, stood there and looked at her and laughed. Didn't even call for medical. She had to be rushed to the medical facility. They performed the necessary procedure and they got the blades out of her. Now, at this point, you see the rest of the letter get started. And that's why, her mother reached out to me, because, the lady is talking about, unaliving herself. So, ODing off Xannies, or possibly being hurt by guards. And, she said that she wants to transfer, but they're only taking, and there's only a limited amount of prisons in women prisons in North Carolina, but she says they are only taking, emergency medical patients or severe mental patients. That's why she's trying to, do things to get her out of this prison. And right now she is on a hunger strike, because that is a way that inmates bring attention to, abuse. And, I once again, I got kind of choked up when, the young lady saying, sorry, I'm a failure. You'll be better off if, I take my own life. And, it gets kind of dark there. And, if anybody who, knows Sade can get this message to her, let her know she's not alone. Somebody's out here advocating for her, and she doesn't have to take those measures. If anyone, and I know Brandy Sean Harris, I've met Todd Ishii. I know a lot of people because I speak at the prisons in North Carolina. So I will be making some calls down there and making this complaint, valid. And I asked everyone to share this video, share it with people, in the prisons or who work in Anson who are familiar with that, because literally I know, like Miss Kalonda Wooten, not to throw her under the bus, but she spent 20 years in those environments, and she's let me know how they do it. The guards would go out of view of the cameras. They would take the inmates to the storage room. They would take them to the meeting rooms, even, in behind walls in the bathroom. And have their literal way with it. Now, the mother told me some other instances. There was a inmate who got pregnant by a guard, and they let the inmate out, evidently, or whether it was her time to get out, or they just let it out to sweep it under the rug. Also, the mother told me about a white lady who OD'd on fentanyl. And if you don't know what fentanyl is, that means you don't know the street term for something that's been taking the life of a lot of people. But this white lady OD'd off that. They swept it under the rug. There's been so much, that's going on in these prisons, as we've seen from the Robert Brooks case, the other gentleman in upstate New York who got beat by guards. And, once again, my own experience. I know how it goes down, that inmates are subjected to this sort of treatment. Now, those of you say that they are, in jail for a crime and, they shouldn't have committed a crime. Yes, all that is true, but their punishment for the crime is their incarceration, not being mistreated and tormented and abused by officers. So let's get that clear now. This young lady, once again, is, have a hard enough time. She has a lot of time to do if she doesn't reach an appeal status. 32 years, she served 10, so she have 22 to go. She's 27. If all else fails, she won't be released until she's 49. Now that's, considered a young age by some. I'm 47. People still call me a young man. So she would still have some time to enjoy life. But if this treatment keeps up, she will be no more good to society to function, because she's experienced 32 years of torment, abuse, mistreatment, mental, psychiatric abuse, all of those things. Being locked up is abuse in itself. It's unnatural in itself. So to encounter much, much, much more abuse, you are subject to create more of a monster when the person gets out. As she mentioned in her letter, Mom, I'm trying to be great, but they won't let me. And so this is my plea to y'all, and I'm going to make some calls. That number on the screen, 704-695-1013, is the number to Anson Correctional Center. It's in Western North Carolina, 552 Prison Camp Road, Polk, North Carolina, 28135. And that number is the direct number. So you guys call and reference this video, and we're going to make sure that, Sade is safe as she exposes a lot of this crookedness, criminal activity from the ones who are supposed to be protecting these individuals who were incarcerated. So once again, y'all know my number as well, 919-587-7782. Peace and blessings. Y'all have a blessed day.